Hello and welcome to our virtual transition video. As I'm sure you're aware, my name is Emma Morris and I'm head teacher. We're extremely pleased to welcome you and your child to the Shavington community, and we feel very privileged that you've entrusted us with their care and development for the next phase of their educational journey.
We know that this is not how our transition would normally be, but we promise you will receive everything you need, and through the power of technology, possibly even a little bit more. Over the course of this video, Mr. Chell, the Assistant Head Teacher for Pastoral Care, will explain to you how things work at Shavington. And then Miss Hughes, the Pastoral Leader for Year 7, will go into far more detail to explain how the transition will work for you and your child. The move to secondary school is such an exciting time in your child's life. Here, they will develop both academically and personally, and it is something which we as an academy really do hold in high esteem. The values which the academy has are characteristics which we believe help our pupils to succeed, to be able to face the challenges of the world we live in, and to develop into citizens that can cope with the demands of modern day.
Hi, I'm Reno Chell and I'm Assistant Head Teacher. I'm responsible for Pastoral Care and also the School Safeguarding Lead. Main focus of my role is to make sure that all our pupils are safe and happy during their time with us. I'm also looking at working with the pupils and the cohorts as wholes and individuals to develop their life skills through our Academy Values ethos. We'll also be preparing them for the challenges of the modern world, and that's something we look forward to working all together on as we progress through the coming academic year.
What pastoral services do we provide? Obviously things like school nurse, counselling, referrals and work with outside agencies, early help, etc. But in terms of supporting Year 7 pupils from entry, we also offer peer mentoring, so that's to develop obviously a Year 7 friendship group, and that might be for those pupils that are struggling to maybe form friendships in those initial few days and few weeks, to make them, to guide them in settling in the best possible way. We also have an assistant pastoral leader for the year group, so they are based in pupil reception and they are dedicated their non-teaching staff to support the development of the year group, and so that can be any concerns or any worries, they've always got a person that they can go to during the course of the school day. Clearly, the relationship with the form tutor is really important, and that's something that is really key over the 5-year period with us, because the form group will stay the same. The pupils within it usually do stay the same for the 5 years. So therefore, these learners will go through that journey together. They'll build the memories, they'll develop the skill set and so on as they move through the academy. So it's really important that we get that off to a positive relationship from the offset. Clearly the year group supported by and through every year of the time where they'll have a pastoral leader. For Year 7 it will be Miss Hughes, who will monitor the behaviour, attendance, achievement and so on, but she will also support with any other issues, social, emotional, as the pupils settle in with us. Online media and social safety. Obviously you'll be aware of a huge amount, an ever-changing amount of online and social media that is available out there, and your son or daughter probably more so. It's really important to remember that once these things are out there, they're out there, and that to guide your son or daughter on being responsible users of such technologies. So that might be things like video recordings, etc., photos taken on phones, and for you to maybe make sure that they understand that within the school they won't be permitted to use the phones with it on the site, within the course of the school day. However, at break time and lunch times they will be permitted to use them, but when they're on the building during the lesson times they are not permitted to be used. So it's quite important that when they do have that chance to use them, that they do use them in the appropriate way. So it may be a conversation with them about making sure the security settings and so on are out there, and also that they don't maybe post stuff that could potentially be something that they don't want everybody to see across the social media network. We've just listed some of the names there, some of the logos, so you can see, and maybe have that dialogue with them prior to starting with us in terms of how if they use them and how they use them. And it's also that, like I say, that good opportunity to check their security settings and so on. On this slide, we've got our guide that we call Safe Book on here. So this is to, for something for you to maybe run through with your son or daughter and thinking about how to stay safe online. So obviously thinking about what you post, don't just, if there's been an argument or so on, making sure that they're aware that they don't need to necessarily broadcast that, publicize that on via social media. So it's having this checklist, if you like, in their minds. Obviously connecting with only people that actually know, so we always advise that if they don't actually physically know that person, then it's probably best not to connect on social media. Thinking about how you'd like to be treated yourself and how you should treat others in a kind and respectful way. Not sharing logins and passwords and so on, because ultimately once a pupil name is on a particular software or social media site, it's very, legally it will be them that are responsible for it in any conduct that occurs on there. Making sure the privacy is as it should be at all times, so make sure it's on friends only view, for example, on talk about Facebook, so that photos are not public and they can't be seen by anyone, because after all, we do know that in the world now, in the recruitment market, for example, a lot of employers do actually Google a person's name prior to them shortlisting for interview, and they do have a look at what sort of what their footprint, if you like, is out there. So it's really important that they also understand that these things might have been done several years ago, but quite more often than not, they do stay online for many years to come. So we want to make sure that the stuff we put out there is responsible and can't potentially damage anything for our futures. So there's some advice as well. So for parents and teachers, so maybe suggesting that you do join Facebook, understand how it works, and then you can also obviously have that dialogue and teach the safety and responsibility to your son and daughter. Okay. Obviously, online bullying is taken as seriously as face-to-face, so it's really important that they don't respond to that and they block a person, tell a friend, tell you as parents, and obviously then report that person to the social media platform to so they're aware of issues with that profile and so on. So here on this slide we talk about using the WWW approach to bring your offline parenting skills online. Just like you would if your son or daughter said they were going out somewhere, you'd want to know who with, you'd want to know where they're going, and you'd also want to know what they're doing. The same applies with anything online. So with their social media, who are they connecting with, where are they planning to go, or are they going with people from that they meet online, and what are they doing, okay, when they do meet up. So that little checklist could be something you could use as a dialogue with your son and daughter to make sure that they stay safe at all lines and they use social media in the most appropriate way. So what can I do right now? So that might be making sure you have the conversation with your child and keep it regular as well about their devices and about what they use their phones, tablets and so on for, iPads. Also think about the filtering and blocking of software. So think about what are they using, do they really need it? Is there a way that certain features and so on can be blocked that make it age appropriate for them? Make sure that have a discussion with them around law and that still does apply online, just because you're not physically walking along somewhere, where, I don't know, if you walked across the road and a car drove into you, that person obviously will be picked up by the police. The same does apply if you virtually walking along somewhere or going along a website that's not really appropriate for you, that can also be picked up as well and could have long-standing implications. Don't get me wrong, the use of technology is a brilliant tool, it's a brilliant thing, and the recent times it's shown how useful it has been for keeping communication and so on going with people. It's just about being safe and making sure that we use the right settings and so on. And also we need to make sure that if there is anything of a negative nature or is there anything we feel needs to report, it might be also wise to screenshot that so you've got that as an evidence base to maybe show someone at schools, to show the multimedia platform provider, or it may be something that without evidence police generally, or no one can really act on that because it is hearsay. And so make sure you do record that and keep a copy of that for reference. The Shevington Academy Parent Handbook is available online, and there is a link on this slide on which you can follow. Okay, I would look over that. It gives a good overview of the school. So that's something to look over and discuss with your child, and that might help them feel a bit less worried about joining us in September. And it also might help to you'd be able to get your heads around things like the timings of the day. And so on. There's also some advice on there for parents, and there's a lot more detail around things such as our growth mindset, of Shevington Academy values, etc. It's also something that can be referred to throughout the year, and should you be unsure of anything, a lot of things are explained in there that occur through an academic year cycle with us. You may wish to particularly focus on the Home Academy Agreement, which is in the handbook, and that talks about the expectations on parents, staff and pupils. Okay, so that might be a good place to start. It's about what, it basically makes clear what the expectation is from all parties so that we can work together in a harmonious manner for the next 5 years on our journey together.
Hello, my name is Jenny Hughes, and I'll be your child's pastoral leader throughout their time in Year 7. That means I'm here to make sure they feel safe and happy at the academy, and I also deal with rewards and sanctions. If you go over to the next slide, I'll talk you through the new forms. Thank you.
Year 7 will be split into 7 separate forms. Each form is allocated a house: Lowry, Franklin or Owen. Depending on which house your child has been allocated will depend on what colour tie they wear. For example, if your child is in Owen House, they will wear a silver tie and a silver badge. If they are in Lowry, they will wear a purple tie and purple badge. Franklin, gold tie, gold badge. Pupils go to form each day at 8:50 until 9:20. Here they take part in activities such as literacy and numeracy. Also, their form tutor will tell them about any important information about the academy.
We know that when your child arrives with us, they may face a number of different challenges. For example, the different subjects, navigating the building, to even working out what to eat and drink each day. But we do promise that we'll be there for them every step of the way. When they arrive with us, each form is allocated a number of transition mentors. These are pupils who were Year 7 themselves last year. Their role is to help every single child get used to our academy and how it runs, to ensure that no one gets lost, to make sure that no one's lonely or scared. They ensure that no one is left out, and that our new Year 7s start high school feeling happy and confident. I'm sure you've still got lots of questions about what September will actually look like. As indicated in a letter sent earlier this week, we will write to you as soon as we know more about the first day, the dates and times, and a little bit of information about what that day will actually look like. But when pupils do arrive with us in September, they'll be going around with their form groups for a number of weeks. This will be to give them the transition that they didn't have earlier on in the year, to get used to staff, the building, and to get used to being round each other. Then, later on in the term, we will assess them in a number of different subjects. This will be to check the gaps in learning and to look at putting them into their mixed ability classes. As pupils haven't had the opportunity to meet their new form tutor, we've asked each form tutor to record a short video to say hello to their new form. These can be found on the school's website under Meet Your Form Tutor. We've also offered a number of getting to know me ideas. These are tasks that pupils could do at home and send in to us so their form tutors know a little bit more information about them before they actually arrive.